Welcome to episode 4 of the RC Van build series. We've got a lot of work to do in this episode. We're going to construct and install the upper cabinets. We have to install the bracing that goes with it, and that means we'll be riveting. And then we install the front fold-down shelf unit, which would normally be pretty easy, but the partition in this van has a bunch of ripples and bends in it, and we have to cope with that. Finally, we have to install the vertical and horizontal bracing necessary to hold the cross van platform. Now, this platform is typically used as a bed, so it supports 600 pounds, and in order to mount it, you've got to get the cross and the vertical bracings just right. So let's dig right in. These cabinets from RBComponents are made out of aluminum, and they are powder coated and beautiful. And the cool thing about these is that they're shaped like the wall of your van. Now, this unit is specifically designed for the Sprinter van, and when it comes to you, it's disassembled. The hardest part about assembling these things is getting the bubble wrap off of it. They really ship these well. They came perfectly wrapped, great condition, and all I had to do was pull the hardware pack out, and it's not like an RC project because there's only 2 pieces of hardware, carriage bolts and nuts. That's it. And I just went and assembled this. This took about, 15 minutes, because there are some tight fitting spaces behind here. And you'll see as I rotate it, these bolts are going in here, so you kind of have to get your finger behind here and tighten that. And this one I'm in the process of tightening. But the carriage bolts make it really nice, and I have a teeny tiny socket wrench right here, and that does the job. So I'm just in here, doing this stuff. And that's it. What we'll do is when we get it into the van, we will rivet braces onto the van wall, and then on those braces, we will insert riv nuts. Yeah, love those things. And riv nuts allow you to attach the cabinetry directly to the van wall, and you're done. So let's see what that installation looks like. Cabinets, gotta love them. And those riv nuts really helped us mount the cabinets, because these 3 bolts right here, 1, 2, and 3, are bolted into the riv nuts that are on that mounting plate that we riveted in before. So this structure is solid. Now, what we may do is, I've got some additional holes down in the bottom of the cabinet. I can just throw metal screws right into the van and go into the van wall with the metal screws, and maybe one here, and that'll do it. I wanted to have the small cabinet over here on the left side to be a left opening cabinet so that it wouldn't bang doors with the one on the right. And that's why the latch is up here. So this one, just works the same way. And these cabinets are anchored in with riv nuts at the top. And we put tape over the openings where the wool insulation was coming through. So these are now perfectly usable. There's no backs on the cabinet that come with it, right? So the back is whatever the back of the van is. And in our case, that's going to be the backing that came from the factory. Now, we have to put some tape over these, but otherwise, they are ready to go. They're solid as a rock, and they look awesome. Check out the RBComponents Sleek Station. This is a fold-down table that we are going to mount on the inside of the cargo bay on the partition. And what's cool about this kit, and it's less than 300 bucks, is it comes with these really stout aluminum mounting brackets that you can move into different locations in the van. Comes with 8 of these discs, and you see these discs just slide up in here. So you can set one set in one place and then put another set somewhere else. And then you can easily move the shelf. If you look, you'll see that the shelf has its own nylon mounting brackets, and that allows the shelf to slide through this CNC machine curly Q pattern, and this is what allows the table to fold down. We will be mounting it with plus nuts, not riv nuts, in order to strengthen the connection between the mounting brackets and the partition. So let's get to it. In order to install the receptacles for the bolts for the shelf brackets, I'm going to use a step bit to make sure I don't over drill the hole. Now, the step bit has markings on it to let me know where I am, but I always like to trial fit the riv nut just to make sure I'm not getting too far ahead of myself. You just don't want to over drill this. Make sure that's tight in there. Kind of hollow it out a little bit. I've got a deburring tool that I will use right after this. So we've got our riv nuts in and we're ready to mount the brackets for the shelf. The sleek station shelf is now installed in the van. It was tricky, and it wasn't tricky because of the product. It was tricky because of the shape of the partition here. It has a curve in it. So we had to mess around with some spacers to get these little holding rings to be in the same plane. But ultimately, the table comes out very nicely. We've got a slight backwards tilt so stuff doesn't fall off the front. This is a smooth surface. And then the technique for bringing the table down is to simply pull it up and forward like this, and then simply drop it. And it hangs down, and if you look at this from the side, this thing's hanging straight down. So in fact, it can even go in that far. And they come with plastic rubber bumpers here that I'm going to install so it doesn't bang on the partition there. But this is an out-of-the-way shelf that can be super handy. From RBComponents, one of our sponsors.